Dear students, today we are going to talk about kappa analysis. Before kappa analysis, what we will do is we will talk about the random experiments first. Suppose I am tossing a fair coin. It can fall head or it can fall tail. There are two possibilities. That, therefore, the total outcomes is 2, that is 2 power 1. The probability of head falling is 0.5. The probability of tail falling is 0.5 because once occurring head is 1 by 2 occurrences. So 1 by 2 is 0.5. Tossing of two fair coins is total probabilities is 2 power 2, 4. The 4 outcomes I have written here: head, 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 tail, tail, head, tail, tail. Similarly, for tossing 3 fair coins, it is 2 power 3, which is equal to 8 possibilities. All the 8 possibilities I have given it here. Similarly, for rolling a fair die, 2 times rolling a fair die, all shown here, the same method you can follow. My aim here is to tell you one simple thing. In tossing of 2 fair coins, the probability of head and head falling is 2 times head falling is obtained by multiplying the probability of occurrence of head in one toss. What is the probability of occurrence of head in one toss? 0.5. So another head in another toss, 0.5. Therefore, 0.5 into 0.5 is 0.25. So we can either get it by multiplication, or we know the total space. 4 spaces are there: 4 HH, TH, HT and TT. So head head falling is only one occurrence, that is one event of the 4 events. So 1 by 4 is 0.25. Therefore, this product rule is very important. Similarly, for 2 tails falling in tossing of 2 fair coins. So the probability of tail falling in one toss is 0.5, another tail falling in the toss is 0.5. So the probability of 2 tails falling is 0.5 into 0.5, 0.25. So the probability of occurrence of 2 heads or 2 tails falling is the sum. Probability of 2 heads falling is 0.25. Probability of 2 tails falling is 0.25. The total probability is 0.25 plus 0.25 is 0.5, which can also be verified by this is one event, this is another event. Total events is 4. 2 by 4 is 0.5. So this multiplication and addition rule are very important in kappa analysis. Now this kappa analysis is coming under measurement system analysis, wherein we are finding out the measurement error. One is bias. This bias consists of the position of the actual value. It contains linearity and stability. Linearity means over the range. Suppose you want to find out over a range of values, so 5 meter to 100 meters, then this will come into picture. Change in bias or operating range. Here is over a period. See, for 5 meters, if there is a change in bias, and after 1 week, if there is a change in bias of different value, then this is considered here. And this can be overcome by doing a calibration over a period of time. This is not our scope now, but it will be covered later. Another error is spread of the measurement. There are two types. One is repeatability and reproducibility. Repeatability is by the same operator. Reproducibility is by different operators. Now, this error within the operator is repeatability. Error between operators is reproducibility. We are bothered about reproducibility, and this reproducibility is what is going to be measured in kappa analysis. One is gauge R&R method, but we are going to do the kappa analysis for reproducibility error. Okay, kappa coefficient we'll find out and then see. The precision or interrelated reliability is measured by kappa statistics. The precision is measured. It gives us a quantitative value of an agreement in any situation in which 2 or more independent appraisers are evaluating the same thing. That is, suppose there is a patient, there are 2 doctors, the 2 doctors are testing the patient and come out with the same result, right? What is the probability? That is what we are going to find out. Right? Case study 1 we will see here. 2 physiotherapists are verifying hypomobility. This is a virus they are trying to verify in 100 patients. They agree that for 60 patients there is positive hypomobility and 10 patients there is negative hypomobility. That means they are agreeing for 60 patients that they are positive. And they are agreeing for 10 patients they are negative. Right? The rest we will see. 10 of them are having negative hypomobility as per physiotherapist 1. and it is not agreed by physiotherapist 2, right? The remaining are having positive hypomobility as per physiotherapist 1 and is not agreed by physiotherapist 2. We will see that how to do this. So the case study is physio 1 and physio 2 have agreed that in 60 cases there is positive hypomobility and 15 cases there is negative hypomobility. So that is what I have written. Physio 2 says positive 60 people. Physio 1 also says positive 60 people. Similarly, he says physio 2 says negative for 15 people. Physio 1 also says 15 for negative people. So the total agreement is 75 out of 100. That is what we have to see here. They have 75% of the case as agreement. That is 75. 60 plus 15. 75%. And in other cases, difference of opinion. What are the two other cases? These two are the other two cases, 15 and 10. Physio 1 says 15 people are negative, whereas Physio 2 says for the same 15 people, it is positive. Similarly, Physio 1 says positive for 10 people. For them, Physio 2 says it is negative. Right? Now, however, if both of them randomly evaluate the patients, they sometimes agree by chance. So that is what is this by chance? Is it significant? We have to verify. Kappa value takes this chance into account, right? It is calculated based on the present observed agreement here, compared with how much agreement would be expected by chance, called expected agreement, right? So based on the present observed agreement, what is the present observed agreement? It is 75%. How much by chance they will agree? That is what we want to see here. Case study. The expected value is obtained by multiplying the positive values of physio 1 and physio 2, then multiplying the negative values of physio 1 and physio 2. It is like heads and tails, right? And then add them together. The product for negative, and then adding the two. That is what I said in the probability explanation. So now I have written here the additional row. 60 plus 15 is 75. Here 10 plus 15 is 25. The total evaluated is 100 patients. So observed agreement is 75 by 100. We know 60 plus 15 by total 100. I am rewriting the table here. Observed agreement I have told you already, 75.100 by 100, 0.75. Now expected agreement we will see now here. See, they have the physio 1 says for 70 people, right? Positive. Physio 2 says for 75 people here. So 70 by 100 into 75 by 100 plus this physio 1 says for 30 people negative. Physio 2 says for 25 people it is negative. So the probability of negative expectation is 0.3 into 0.25. The expected agreement is the addition of these two. Understand? If you do this calculations, you will get 0.6. Then the kappa coefficient is given by observed probability minus expected probability. That is 0.75 is the observed probability minus 0.6 is the expected divided by 1 minus expected probability. If you do this, 0.375. What does this coefficient gives? According to the commonly used scale, the two physio would have fair agreement on which patients are hypomobile and which patients are not. That is what we are going to say that. Less than 0 means no agreement at all. If this value is less than 0, that means there is no agreement at all between the two physios. Equal to 1 means perfect agreement. They will agree, right? Significance. Kappa coefficient is less than 0 means poor. Less than 0.2 means slight. So here it is a fair agreement. There is a fair agreement. Moderate agreement is 0.6. Substantial agreement is 0.8. Almost perfect agreement will be 1.0. Right? If one says good, the other also will say it is good. Now, the same thing I have given it in the different format. Less than 0 is less than chance agreement. 0.01 to 0.20, if the Kappa coefficient is in this value, in this range, there will be a slight agreement. It's a fair agreement. There is a moderate agreement. If it is 0.61 to 0.80, substantial agreement. This is what you should get. If 0.81 to 0.99, almost perfect agreement will be there. Blindly, we can believe anyone. Right? If one doctor says yes positive, the other doctor will certainly say it is positive. Now, another case study we will see here. Suppose physio 1 and physio 2 have agreed in 70 cases there is positive, and in 15 cases there is negative hypermobility, and 5 of them are having negative as per physiotherapist 1, and physiotherapist 2 disagrees with him, the 5 of these cases. We will see that table now here. See, 70 people they are agreeing positive, 15 people they are agreeing negative, right? And 5 people physio 1 says negative, 5 of them negative as per physiotherapist 1, right? And then positive as per physiotherapist 2. So the remaining is 10, right? Clear? 70 plus 15, 85 plus 5, 90. The balance should be 100. The sum of all these 4 cells should be 100. So now physio 1 says for 80 people, physio 2 says for 75, and physio 1 says for 20 people, physio 2 says for 25 people. So observed agreement is 70 plus 15 by 100, 0.85. Right? And then expected agreement, what I have to do is 0.8 into 0.75, that is what is done here, plus 0.2 into 0.25, that is what done here. So if you add it up, you will get 0.65. And kappa coefficient is 0.571. If kappa coefficient is 0.571, what does it mean? Moderate agreement, right? Thank you very much for watching. And if you want to contact me, you can scan this QR. Thank you very much.